Hey gamers, the highly anticipated new installment of The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, was finally released last week. After a 6-year wait, following the previous game's redefinition of the open-world genre, is it going to show the gaming industry how it's done once again? What kind of fresh experience does Tears of the Kingdom offer players? How does it differ from Breath of the Wild? What makes The Legend of Zelda so enjoyable? In this video, I will attempt to answer some of these questions. Over the weekend of the game's launch, I played approximately 25 hours, although there's still much content I haven't experienced. Those 25 hours were filled with constant surprises and numerous breathtaking gaming experiences. I couldn't resist sharing them with everyone and also wanted to document my thoughts to compare them once I've completed the game. This video will avoid major spoilers, and if any are mentioned, they will be limited to events within the first few hours of gameplay or content seen in trailers. The main focus is to introduce the game mechanics, share my gaming experience, and try to explain what makes this game so enjoyable. Alright, let's embark on a long-awaited journey to the continent of Hyrule after 6 years. Gamers achieved. First, I'd like to address a concern that many people might have, whether Tears of the Kingdom is just a large DLC for Breath of the Wild. My answer is a definite no. DLCs usually involve adding new content or supplementing the storyline to an existing game, while keeping the core gameplay unchanged. It's an additive approach. However, Tears of the Kingdom is different. It introduces 4 abilities that are completely distinct from the previous game. These abilities allow players to assemble and combine different items using the Ultra Hand, enhance the attack and defense of weapons or shields, construct new utilities with Fuse, traverse through ceilings with Ascend, and reverse time to make objects move along their paths in reverse with Recall. These 4 new gameplay mechanics bring about significant changes to the core gameplay of the game, surpassing mere addition and even multiplication. The possibilities within the game and the potential for players to exercise their creativity have increased exponentially. Now, if someone argues that the core gameplay is exploration, indeed, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom share similarities in certain aspects of the gaming experience. The physics and chemistry engines appear to be derived and improved from Breath of the Wild. So, if you were expecting a completely different gaming experience, you might be slightly disappointed. However, in my opinion, rather than considering Tears of the Kingdom as a large DLC for Breath of the Wild, it's more accurate to see Breath of the Wild as a large-scale experiment leading up to Tears of the Kingdom. Breath of the Wild established the foundational game structure and the physics and chemistry engines, and in Breath of the Kingdom, the developers unleash their creativity and players can have their own creative explosions using these 4 new abilities. Next, I'd like to try to explain what makes The Legend of Zelda so enjoyable. The fun aspects of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are quite similar, but Tears of the Kingdom takes it to the next level. To cut to the chase, I believe the appeal of The Legend of Zelda lies in the ultimate interactive and exploratory experiences it offers through its incredible amount of game mechanics and interactive features. In this game, you'll feel like there's nothing you can't do. The only limit is your own imagination. If you think about it carefully, in most other games, regardless of the amount or the level of excitement of the game content, even in big AAA games, there are usually less than 10 things players can do. Many things you can think of doing are simply not possible. In the end, the gameplay experience of over 100 hours might just revolve around repeating those 10 things in different variations. The core game mechanics are limited, and the number of interactive objects is actually quite small. However, the essence of a game is interaction, which is why Sony's subsidiary company selling PlayStation is called Sony Interactive Entertainment, rather than Sony Gaming Company or something like that. But I think Nintendo is the company that truly understands the essence of gaming and interactive entertainment. In recent years, Sony's focus has been on games that increasingly resemble playable movies, with top-notch audio-visual effects, immersive expansive worldviews, and complex storylines, but often lacking in exceptional gameplay. On the other hand, The Legend of Zelda, especially Tears of the Kingdom, offers an abundance of outrageous functionalities and mind-boggling interactive objects. In over 100 hours of gameplay, there may be over 200 different things you can do. The game mechanics and interactive objects are unbelievably vast, and there are various physics and chemistry reactions that are truly bewildering. It's hard to fathom how the game developers managed to achieve such a level while maintaining the balance of the game world without it collapsing. A slight misadjustment of a single physical parameter could potentially cause the entire game to malfunction and become unplayable. It's difficult to imagine the amount of effort and time the developers invested in creating such a masterpiece. When playing The Legend of Zelda, players suddenly become like children, eagerly wanting to interact with everything visible in the environment. They are excited to explore the entire world and eager to use their own hands to try various possibilities. engaging in meaningful or meaningless experiments. The rewards and surprises that the game brings through world exploration are boundless. The surprises in the game are incredibly dense in both space and time. It truly feels like going back to being 8 years old, playing with building blocks or assembling robots, crashing and exploring the world with curiosity. It's the purest form of gaming, the purest form of joy, truly playing the game rather than being played by the game. Often, players enter a state of flow where they lose track of time. On the other end of the spectrum, typical examples of games that play the players are those designed around dopamine, such as daily logins to receive diamonds for gacha mobile games, or web games where you watch your levels or abilities increase rapidly but without meaning. I'm not trying to belittle other games, as I've gotten addicted to collecting cute characters in mobile games myself. Perhaps that is a form of entertainment and maybe even decent entertainment, but it is not good interactive entertainment, definitely not good gaming. I just want to emphasize that I truly believe Nintendo is the best game company on earth today. The developers have truly purified the concept of playing or interactive entertainment, bringing games back to their essence of interaction. They approach game development with a mindset of subtraction, and in doing so, they bring the players the most surprises and the best gaming experience. Alright, next, I'd like to talk about the aspects of the game that left a deep impression on me during the early stages. First, the weight and significance of the storyline have significantly increased. There are numerous cutscenes right from the beginning, and the character development and storytelling feel richer than in Breath of the Wild. Many of the vague mysteries from previous installments are explained more clearly in this game. But at the same time, new mysteries are introduced. The storytelling carries substantial weight and suspense, making it captivating and leaving me eagerly anticipating the future developments. The weight of the narrative also provides players with a strong motivation to explore the world. The second point is the Zonai device. In the game previews, only 1 or 2 types of devices were shown, I can't recall exactly. But the Zonai device offers a wide range of functions, including both expected and unexpected ones. It provides various useful features that aid in exploring the world. Overall, the diverse functionalities of the Zonai device pleasantly surprised me and added significant value to the game. Next is the stunning physics engine. Although I'm not certain if it has made substantial advancements compared to previous title, I was deeply impressed by the game's physics engine this time. There are numerous examples, but the most memorable one for me is the control of the wing glider. The weight of Link, the weight and center of gravity of the wing glider, its inertia, and the torque that changes depending on where Link stands on the glider, all these details and the level of fidelity are difficult to put into words. Those who have played the game know that maintaining balance and controlling the direction, which may seem simple, is actually quite challenging and incredibly fun. I easily spent over half an hour just playing with the wing glider. By the way, I also spent a long time on the starting area, Great Sky Island, because it was so enjoyable and there were so many things I wanted to try and explore. I didn't want to leave. Another impressive aspect is that there are actually quite a few shrines in this game that require puzzle solving to unlock. In other words, you have to solve puzzles in order to solve more puzzles. It's really interesting, and for puzzle enthusiasts, this installment can be incredibly enjoyable with its abundance of puzzle elements. While the previous installment may have had some hidden shrines, the process of unlocking them wasn't truly puzzle solving. Next, another major highlight is the underground world. Before making this video, I specifically rewatched the game trailer and noticed that there were brief glimpses of what seemed like caves or something similar. I didn't expect it to be an entire underground world. Tears of the Kingdom surprisingly features an incredibly vast underground world for exploration, and it's truly astonishing. The first time I went down was when I stumbled upon a well on the roadside. As I approached, a prompt appeared, and I thought, why not jump in and see what happens? And what greeted me when I jumped into the well was a massive underground world. I was completely dumbfounded and overwhelmed by its grandeur. Such an enormous gameplay element was introduced in such an understated manner, and the game trailers didn't seem to mention it much. After watching the game trailers, I was already excited about exploring just the floating islands, and now there's an underground world as well. It was a truly super surprising revelation. The underground world seems to have a significant connection to the game's plot and mysteries. I've only explored about 10% of it, or maybe even less. I still have a lot to discover. About the 4 new abilities introduced in Tears of the Kingdom, I guess there are already many people online who have come up with various creative ways to use them. I won't go into detail about them here. Personally, I have a fear of spoilers and I'm really afraid of being spoiled, so I don't dare to watch gameplay videos before completing the game. Therefore, I still don't know what kind of creativity people have come up with so far. But from my own experience, I can feel that the possibilities are truly endless, and it gives me a bit of a Minecraft vibe, making it hard to resist. I'm really looking forward to seeing how others come up with creative approaches after I finish playing. Okay, the last impressive point I want to mention may be more subjective. I always feel that the combat in this game is much more challenging. The bullet time mechanics seem to have stricter and harder to trigger timing, as well as shield parry. Moreover, enemies have incredibly high attack power, and getting hit a couple of times can lead to death. I die much more frequently in Tears of the Kingdom compared to Breath of the Wild. After playing for over 20 hours, I still feel a bit apprehensive about most of the common enemies I encounter along the way. However, it's possible that because this new title provides more ways to deal with enemies, the game designers have accordingly increased the difficulty of enemies, pushing players to make the most of various game mechanics and come up with creative strategies to defeat them. There are indeed more methods to instantly kill enemies, but at the same time, enemies can also quickly eliminate you, resulting in a lower margin for error. It's also possible that it's simply because 6 years have passed, and I'm getting older, so my reflexes have slowed down. For those who have played both titles, could you help me answer whether the combat has indeed become more challenging? Next, I'd like to remind viewers who haven't started playing yet about some easily missed content and game mechanics. First, there's the NPC named Hastu, who allows you to expand your inventory by using the Korok seeds you collect. Believe it or not, I completely missed encountering this NPC in Breath of the Wild, so I never expanded my inventory. It was only after finishing the game and discussing it with friends that I realized I had missed this crucial game mechanic. I deeply regretted it as it significantly affected my gameplay experience. Another game mechanic I missed in Breath of the Wild was building houses. Again, I learned about it from my friends after completing the game. It was another major aspect of the game that I had missed out on. Fortunately, in Tears of the Kingdom, both Hastu and the house-building NPC are located in obvious places during the early stages of the game, so they are not as easily missed. However, it's still worth mentioning. The last easily overlooked content is unlocking the camera feature. I personally missed it. It wasn't until I completed the first temple and returned to the starting area lookout landing for a side quest that I discovered the quest to unlock the camera feature. Since the camera allows you to capture weapons, enemies, and creatures in your compendium, I will forever miss the boss from the first temple in my compendium, and I feel really regretful about it. In summary, I believe there are 3 crucial game mechanics that you might miss in the early stages: expanding the inventory, building houses, and unlocking the camera feature. It's important to activate them early on as they greatly enhance the enjoyment of the game. Oh, and here's a little tip that some people may already know. If you accidentally deplete your stamina while gliding in the air and there's no water below you, instead of falling and meeting your demise, you can open the map and fast travel to any shrine or tower. Next, I'd like to mention my biggest complaint about the game so far, which is the frequent frame rate drops, especially when using the Ultra Hand and quickly moving the camera. There's a high chance of experiencing severe frame rate drops, which significantly impact the game experience. That's too bad that such a technical issue exists in a well-made game. It's possible that the complexity of the game mechanics makes optimization difficult. By the way, the Nintendo Switch has been on the market for 6 to 7 years, and it's about time for Nintendo to release the next generation of consoles. It feels like the hardware limitations are hindering developers' creativity, and there might be many ideas constrained by the relatively lower specifications of the Switch. It's truly unfortunate. Finally, I'd like to share the most interesting shrine I've encountered so far, the Tukarok Shrine Forward Force. If you're afraid of spoilers, please skip this part. This shrine has been the one that took me the longest to solve, probably around an hour. It's quite unique because there's an obvious solution that allows you to complete it in about 5 minutes. But because the shrine is called the Forward Force, I couldn't resist trying to find the correct solution. The shrine consists of 3 puzzle sections. In the first section, you have to ride a cart over a pool of lava. However, I was quite foolish at that point and didn't realize that you could hit the tires to activate them. I thought it was a trap, as it seemed obvious that you could simply dismantle the entire cart and use its parts to create a path across the lava pool. Let me show you my foolish solution for this puzzle. The second puzzle section requires you to use platforms to guide a ball to the top. I strongly suspected that my solution was incorrect as well. I moved the ball and platforms together to the top, and before they slid down, I quickly used time reversal to restore them to the top, then climbed up quickly to grab the ball. Later, I realized that since they provided me with wheels, the correct solution should have involved using the wheels as a vehicle to transport the platforms upwards. Well, onward to the final puzzle section, where you have to move the ball to the other side of the river. It was at this point that I realized the shrine was called the Forward Force, and I couldn't see any relation to my solutions from the previous section. The third section also had an obvious solution, where you could use several wooden planks to bridge the river. But I decided to contemplate the meaning of Forward Force. It was only then that I realized I could hit the wheels to activate them and make them start spinning. It felt a bit silly to realize it so late. As soon as I discovered the wheels could move, I immediately built a boat with 4 wheels, intending to transport the ball across the river. However, I discovered that the water was flowing in the opposite direction, and the power from the wheels wasn't enough to move forward. This puzzle wasn't as easy to solve. I then tried various combinations of wheels and different planks, thinking of different angles to generate maximum forward power. I even wondered if the planks were intentionally designed to lead you into a thinking trap and if the wheels and ball combination was the lightest option. After struggling with angles for quite some time, I excitedly placed my well-constructed contraption on the river, only to find that it still couldn't make it across. I was extremely disappointed. I started to doubt everything, even suspecting that the river itself was a thinking trap. Could it be that the ball had to roll through the partitions in the river? As expected, after multiple attempts, that didn't work either. I tried hundreds of different solutions, spending almost an hour on it, until I finally had the idea to use the tires as engines or motors. I connected them with planks and used the planks as paddles to row the ball on a raft to the other side. When I finally thought of this solution, I was moved to tears, filled with joy and a tremendous sense of accomplishment. I believe this solution must have been close to what the developers intended to see. Alright, that's it for today's video. I'll make a complete review and impressions video once I finish the game. In summary, within the first 25 hours of gameplay, I've experienced plenty of surprises, and it's been incredibly fun. Thank you for watching today's video, and see you next time.